Good evening, legends.
Yeah.
Welcome to the first Old World of Oz YouTube video this evening. It's a new channel here in Down Under, aka Australia, for all you overseas listeners. Guys, what we're here tonight. We've got quite an exciting episode planned. This is going to be a monthly installment because we're all dads. And some of us also have other podcasts, businesses, and tournaments to run and play in. Basically, we're joined by a good mate, Gomo, also known from Old World Fanatics fame.
Hello.
We've got
the Wizard. We call him the Wizard around here.
the Wizard of Oz. And obviously, in the top right hand here, we've got our man, the King of the North, Mr. D. Stark, aka Starky.
How's it going?
And
Pleasure to be here.
There we go. Great to see you, mate. Mate, I'm one of your hosts, ASB. And so, guys, I think like this is. I almost feel like Edmund Hillary about to climb Everest and conquer it. What are we here to talk about tonight, guys? Someone tell me.
I guess a more structured process for competitive play and the Australian Masters of Warhammer The Old World. That's what I'm hoping. Just like a community-run, community-built sort of tournaments. Like, no, tournaments maybe not the right word. Just building up the great community that's Old World that's kicked off.
It's already had such a strong start.
Yeah. And we'll cover some numbers.
Such a strong start.
Numbers on that, guys. We have hashtag. We have hashtag data on this episode on episode 1 here to bring to you. Also, please ignore. Oh, sorry, up that side. My drill here in the back. That is a hobby drill. It's actually a jeweler's drill. I'm not. If anyone's wondering what that is. So
we've asked you before.
What we're here to talk about
is like a drip.
My dad is a
it's that hot over there.
Yeah. And so I use a drip. I use a drill for cleaning models. Now my dad gave it to me when he retired. So I should mention I'm originally from Adelaide. Played all 6th, 7th edition in Adelaide. Now live in Queensland. In Brisbane. Gomo, where are you from, mate?
Newcastle in Australia, north of Sydney for people who are internationally, I guess, dialing in, viewing in.
Kingaroy, peanut country myself, up in Queensland.
Mid-north Queensland.
Yeah, just out from Brisbane.
It's about how far? So it's about 3 hours, is it? I think we're a bit laggy tonight. But
about 3 hours.
Yeah. Cool, awesome. I'll get up there at some point. I have not visited you, but pretty.
I tried to get you around this time, but
Starky, I know you did. You just had the tournament, didn't you? You tried to get me, but sorry.
Yeah.
But I am impressed with your backdrop.
It just goes for a little while. Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah, it's
the best.
My pride and joy. There's not too much grey in there, so I'm pretty good.
No, well, it doesn't look like it from here, but yeah, it's amazing.
Did you notice how it's not pictures of his 4 children?
No, they're not in here.
not the pride and
they
joy.
dominate the house.
Basically, guys, I think to summarise why we're here. This is to become the one-stop shop for the community, run by the community. It's not just going to be us 3. This is sort of day 1, ground zero. The lobby, and we want to get to the penthouse. And what we're going to be talking about tonight is a real sort of high-level overview of what we've come up with. I should say what I guess I kind of bring the marketing side. Starky started with
I had the idea. I'm going to claim having the idea.
Gotcha. Yeah.
I started this idea
Yeah, comrades.
ago, but but the Wizard of Oz, Mr. Gomo, has outdone himself on what you're about to see. I know we're really building up the hype, as you can see. Like, I'm the marketing guy, right? That's what I'm here to do. But basically, guys, this is the idea: is a one-stop shop for events, for tournaments, for competitive play, and of course, cue the drum roll. We're talking about rankings and the Masters Invitational, which is an institution here in Australia, and it also is run overseas. From memory, Australia was the first country to come up with the idea of the Masters, I believe.
Oh,
other
really?
countries in the world that run it. Yeah, I'm pretty sure Australia was the first back in 6th edition. And it's essentially been run in 6th, 7th edition, 8th edition, 9th age. I don't know if Kings of War run a Masters Invitational. And we're about to finally have it for Old World, which I'm pretty excited about. So, guys, that is what we're here to talk about tonight. Just so people that don't understand what Masters is, basically there's rankings that determine where you place in nationally. This one in particular is going to be run over a 2-year period, just because we wanted to incorporate all of the tournaments from the beginning of Old World until the cutoff. The cutoff's yet to be decided. We're thinking, again, we want the community to decide on this. So there's going to be votes and all that kind of stuff. We're not here to say this is how it is. Again, this is by the community. This is your platform, not our platform. It's your platform. And so, yeah, all of this stuff's going to be voted on, where it's going to be held, how it's going to work in terms of which state holds it, each year, all that kind of stuff. I've got some big plans about getting this registered as a not-for-profit to try and access government funding, which could actually then help either, or hopefully cover the travel costs for the successful invited players each year, or at least subsidize it. So that's kind of the long term, and that way everyone actually, because sometimes people can't play because they can't travel. Maybe they got an event on. That's why we're trying, really, I guess, bring some structure and organisation to the event play. But I think we've hyped it up enough. Colin, you've got 3 children.
Run through it.
Yeah, Colin has 3.
Look at him, he's biting his nails. He's just waiting to release this thing.
I have one child. Colin has 3. He has 2 girls that are, in their teen years, and he has the following thing that you're about to see as his 3rd child. All right, drum roll.
Cool. Let's whack it up then. Okay, so yeah, we have the inaugural Old World Rankings website, I guess, for particular for Australia, obviously, but it's actually regional. So as we kick it off and actually lead the world, hopefully we'll get other regions on board. That's what I'd like as well. But right now it's focused on the Australian tournament scene and the results that we've got so far. Logged through, new recruit, BCP, and, people who aren't using any sort of tournament software. You can get the data in here as well. So I guess what we're trying to build out is a portal, one-stop shop for, the Aussie Old Worlders to get to track their progress, their ranks, stats on different factions, as well as their player profiles, and really to find where the hell you go and play more Warhammer games. That's sort of what we want to do. So what do you guys want to see? Do you want to should we just walk through what's in here and then sort of, I guess, the vision of where we're going to take it? Because obviously it's brand new and it doesn't have everything, but it's a pretty good start, I think.
We're working on it. We keep coming up with ideas.
Yeah.
Yeah, but Lucky and I keep
I love it.
Ideas, and then we keep making Colin have to do it all.
Yeah. It doesn't take him long. I'm sure he just clicks his fingers.
For the last couple of weeks. God, I hope this lag's not killing it, but it's definitely, you guys getting a bit of lag on your side?
Yeah.
Hopefully, I don't know if that's my side or yours, but I guess we'll just take it a bit slow and hopefully things catch up. Let's start with, we'll go into tournaments and then we'll work backwards into like the rankings and dashboards and stuff, if that's cool. Yeah. So, so you don't, we'll share this around. It'll be in the show notes. There'll be links, and obviously we'll do a bit of marketing to get it out on the other podcasts and stuff like that. But it's basically oldworldrankings.com. So if you just go there, it'll boot you into this platform. You don't need to log in, but down the track you might want to, because there'll be more features for people who log in and link their player profiles and stuff. But right now, basically, it's a pretty boring looking tournament screen, but it's basically logging the tournaments back from the beginning of the year that have come through best coast pairings, new recruit, some of the manual ones like Castle Assault, and then obviously the upcoming ones as well, which we're picking up on as well. So as they come out on the systems or people advertise them on Facebook, we're trying to whack them in here. Obviously, if they're on New Recruit or Best Coast, we just import them straight in. But if you're not running, if you're a TO out there, that's the first thing I'd say. If you're a TO out there, please use one of the tournament platforms if you could. But if not, obviously we'll provide ways to get your tournament on here as well. So, yeah, is there anything you want to say specifically around that, ASB?
Yeah, I was going to say, I think, long term, guys, I guess the vision that we've kind of looked at, again, this is, I really want to stress and put a lot of emphasis on this. This is not, in the past, I know that these sort of platforms have become a little bit of a boys' club. I know particularly in a really old edition, early on, there was it's known as the Mafia, and it's kind of their way on the highway, and it really is not and if you're listening, I don't actually care. But the idea of this is not to do that. It is really, so if you've got ideas on how if you want to get involved, I think one thing that I thought of is we could have a representative from each state, almost like a premier, if we're talking about elections, who could actually be voted by their local community, someone that's really involved. And it doesn't have to be the same person, it could even, they're only involved for 3 months, someone else takes over and all that kind of stuff. You could have multiple, but the idea is, and different people are going to have different skill sets they do in their professional life. Gomo happens to be a very successful developer that's scaled and sold software businesses. So that's where he sort of comes in, just as an example. And so the idea is for this really to be community driven and to try and add value. So I think anything that anyone can think of that we can improve, that we can can add to this. So where I was going with that, is I reckon at some point we could even do seminars with groups of TOs on how to actually run a tournament in New Recruit, or how to run a tournament in Best Coast pairings, the pros and cons of each, and those things, right? And again, it's about that community engagement and really helping each other to deliver. I think it's about helping each other deliver a better.
Yeah, it just makes it easier too, doesn't it? And it'll bring more TOs out of the woodworks too, because they realise it's easier if they got more support. So yeah, 100%.
Yeah, it's so easy to run on New Recruit. You don't have to do hardly anything.
Yeah, there you go.
Yeah. And I think as a player as well with New Recruit, I know it can be a little bit glitchy when you first start using it, but as a player, especially if you have the paid version, you don't even need your army book. All the stats and everything are in there. When you go to count points at the end, if you've got the paid version, you just cross it off and away you go. It's so easy. But again, if it's kind of that fear of the unknown. If you've never used it before and you're used to running something manual, whether you're a player or you're a TO, I get it, right? And anything that we can do, and I think what we'll end up having is probably a tab on this website that has a link to sort of subject matter experts that you can go and seek out around certain topics in the community. People that are happy to put their hand up and say, yep, I can help you. And it could even be long term as well. Again, we're talking big picture vision here. If we can get this registered as a not-for-profit and have a proper committee and everything, we might be able to actually access a set of mats and terrain for every single state that's held at a central location, in a community hall, and that way tournament organizers literally it becomes so simple. There could be tournament packs on here that are templated, so you basically as a TO all of a sudden you're only having to invest an hour of your time and put up a Facebook event and post it on here, and away you go. This is all about trying to add value. About adding value to the community and trying to involve as many people and help shape the community. I think we could all have that. That's a really positive, inclusive one.
This tournament section's great. It's a great place to come and see what's on. Make sure you're not going to, if you're going to think of hosting a tournament, you'll see where other tournaments are, and you won't double up like I did last weekend.
That's a good point. Yeah.
We didn't have this feature, so
Yeah.
That's one of the
So
good
and
things
then
about this.
obviously I'll just quickly run through what it's capturing at the moment. Obviously we'll do more work around making it look snazzier in terms of the top, how much information, where it is, the address, who to talk to, the TOs, like all that's coming. But right now, it's giving you the bare basics, but allowing you to link off to your Facebook event or your new recruit or wherever it, So basically, if someone sees a tournament here, let me just go back. Say they look at HeroCon. Obviously, there's nothing in there yet because it hasn't run, but they can just go straight over to Best Coast Pairings, find the information they need there to actually, register, send their lists in and stuff like that. So it's all tied together. So that's why I think it's still a good place to start if you're looking. But for the ones that have run, obviously, like if I go to Starkies, you can see, and don't get too hung up on the ranking points yet. We'll talk through that in a minute. But this is the information that's getting pulled out of you recruit automatically, the placings, the players, their nickname if they got it. Currently, most of the time, what faction they're playing. There's a few little glitches here and there, but what TOs can do is once they've run their tournament, they can come in here. Each TO will have permission to edit their tournament, and they can just correct anything that they want to do, plus add achievements onto players. So achievements are things that are really regional specific too. Like if we like to give people best paintings or wooden spoons or whatever, you can tag all that stuff in here as well, and it all goes towards that player profile at the end of the day. So
That's one of my favourite parts.
Yeah, so it's pretty
I
cool.
love that part.
That's so I'm just going to log in too, just in case there's things that I want to show that I can't do not logged in. But yeah, and for those people who are running tournaments or will want to, you will get more access to things like adding tournaments or importing tournaments, which comes from like New Recruit, Best Coast. I think I was talking to ASB, we might look into Tawny Keeper, and there's also Longshanks as well. So there's a couple of these platforms out there that we will support. It's just to stop you doing data entry and again, make it easier to get the community the info they need, I guess. So that's the biggest thing. Should we talk through the rankings? Because then it might make more sense when I go look at the player profiles. What do you think? Or do you want to look at players?
I think show them how the rankings work.
Look at profiles, then ranking. Yeah, rankings, then player profiles.
Okay, because we sort of did mention. Let's look at the rankings right now. So basically, do you want to talk through ranking points in general and how we're doing it, and then I can sort of move back and look at different tournament examples about how we've generated it.
You going with that, Angus?
So essentially, yep, I can do that, mate. So basically, guys, your top three results for in each season are what are considered, right? So if you play in 10 tournaments, as an example, your top three results will count. So it's not cumulative, and the idea of that is it's to try and balance it and make it fair for the parents out there that have kids and they can only get to 3 tournaments a year, or the way their work schedules work and all that stuff. So the idea isn't it's not just a volume thing. The idea here is to try and get the sort of I guess the players that perform the best over that season the opportunity to be invited. So it's only your top 3 results that count. In order for a tournament to be lodged, to count, you need 10 players to be eligible, and you must have at least 3 rounds. Maximum points possible for a tournament is 80 to 100, and that's based on 3, 4, or 5 rounds. There's a point calculation, as you can see there. So base points are determined by the number of players, and points cap at 100. A multiplier is applied based on the number of rounds. So basically, it's the bigger the event, right? And so you want to try and get to 1 or 2 2-days, and then obviously you want to try and perform. You've got to remember the Masters is either 5 or 6 rounds, hence one of the reasons. But obviously, 1 day is still counts, and points are adjusted at the end based on the final ranking in the tournament. So that's essentially how it works. So
if I'll go back to the birthday slaughter that just happened. There was 18, 17, 16 players that finished basically, and obviously that would have made it sitting in that 10 to 20, like capping out at probably a maximum of around 90 something points, I think might have been. Well, it's 87 technically.
Yeah,
It's
87.
ended up being the
Because
maximum.
it's got
So
the
if you
full
came,
games.
yeah,
Yeah.
if you came first on that, you get
It's got the
87
full
points. Yeah. TOs can choose to score it how they want in terms of if they want wins, if they want to do it on VPs. It doesn't really matter as long as it's down to the placing. So the TO sorts that out, and then whatever placing is, those ranking points are calculated for that player. And then obviously it all gets logged into the system, and we pick the top 3, and the person with the highest top 3, well, sorry, the top 20 of those players are currently in contention for being in the Masters, but obviously that moves per week as tournaments happen. So,
and also, guys, I think if the community votes and says no, we don't want top 20. I know in the USA they do top 32. I know that previously it's always been top 16. So I think again this isn't us to decide. This is the community to decide.
This is all configurable as well. We can just change it. Yep.
So that's how the rankings work. Obviously, you can see the current rankings. So that's your top 20 there right now. So if you want to get in there, you know what you have to do, guys. You need to attend more events. So far as well, there's 339 ranked players. That means 339 different people have played in at least one tournament in Australia since Old World kicked off, which I think. It's not the 7,000 ranked players we had back in 6th and 7th. Well, sorry, in peak 7th edition, but I think it's a really, really good start for a game. That is essentially brand new in reality. So
and I'll say for sure I haven't probably got every tournament in here. We're trying to, but we're still trying to wrangle a few. Especially because for the ones that were early in the year that nobody didn't know this was coming, so they haven't kept some of the stuff. It's just there will be some things missed, but obviously reach out. If you are a TO and you're on the site, there's a little chat down here. Just hit us up and I'll try to sort what I can. I'll keep talking through some of the features here too. Obviously, as seasons progress, you'll see this thing up here, which will jump between different seasons. Right now, we do have this is the main one, so it's going to default to that. But over time, I did envision that potentially you might want to, especially in this first year, we might want to do one that just sees what it would look like. For example, if we were running the last 12 months or something like that, we can do that and just you can have a look at it. But we'll be running off this one. Any of these are links, so we can click into the player, which I'll do in a minute. We're obviously tracking the factions for the top 3 of the selections that counted. We're showing the results. We're showing all their achievements. Man, where did the key go? I thought I had a key showing what these achievements were, but oh well, must have lost it. The achievements, it's tracking. So these, even though Patty's first here, she's finished second, and third in 4 different tournaments. So that's the achievements here is all cumulative over it. So you could have someone here with 100, do you know what I mean? But that's not, because they're not achievement. These type of things are sort of fun and they're not really counting to the rankings, the Masters ranking, but they are fun to have up there.
They just go on your player profile. It's cool.
Yeah. So if I go click through to Patty, and this is the other cool thing about this platform, guys, is it learns that if we import something from BCP, it matches it up. And then next time it comes in from new recruit, suddenly it joins it automatically. So, for example, Patty, there's her new recruit and a best coast. So she can click off to there. That goes to her profile on that. So you as a TO don't need to sort that out. This system does that. And then it gives you tracking of obviously those achievements. So, as I said, she's got 3 runners up plus 1 third. She's played, at least here, she's done 4 tournaments. And there's her win-loss and stuff like that. So, this is what I hope will evolve as we build it out. When you'll be able to log in, link your user to a player that's in there. You'll be able to follow other players, get alerts. And, that's what we want to sort of build up. I'd really love to see galleries in here too, so people show off their armies and stuff like that, and really have a cool place where you can share your profile and what you're doing with Old World, which would be pretty cool.
And I think as well...
have a bio and all that,
I think you could also then start adding stuff of which store you mainly play out of or which club you mainly play out of. So people could, if they wanted to contact you for a game, you could have where, your sort of the city you live in.
Yeah, that is coming. So that's pretty close. Yeah. Cool. We definitely want location. At least a city level.
So again, guys, for the old, next neckbeards in the community. I am one, but I don't have a neckbeard. Just the mo. You might remember Wargamer AU. It was an institution of the community. I think particularly in sort of 6th and 7th edition. And I mean, it wasn't just. I shouldn't say it wasn't just fantasy. 40k was obviously massive on there, and it wasn't just Games Workshop games. This is almost, I guess, a semi-replacement for that in a way. So.
There's that, and then we do have the Australian Discord channel, which obviously this will have a link. Well, you can see up here it says join Patreon. So that's Patreon. We'll have Discord for the Australian one. So I think if we join them together a bit more, again, if you're a Discord member there on our Australian Discord server, then that would show up here as well. And it's just more ways for people to meet, know where everyone is, get games, chat lists, banter, and all that sort of stuff. So that's looking good. I will say, without getting too far ahead, your player profile is actually going to be global. So this thing is built actually under the covers to be not just, as I said, it's got Australia, it's like, we got big plans here that this expands out of there, and who knows down the track there might be back to the international events as well. So, but this is sort of where it's sort of planning on going. But let's put our best foot forward as Aussies and get on it.
Yeah, I think something that doesn't exist and never has existed. So you've got obviously the ETC, but that's an elective tournament. You've also got the singles event, right? I can't remember what it's called, Worlds or whatever, in Europe. There's never been an invite-only singles World Cup for the best player in the world. And maybe that's over time. This could develop into where you've got 50 countries, and each of those countries has a Masters, and the winner of each of those Masters gets invited to an invite-only global tournament. Obviously that financially would be challenging to make it happen, but it would be pretty cool. You start getting into esports. I can retire from recruitment and become a full-time gamer.
Everyone's dream. Yeah. I guess the only other thing, so as long as you guys understand how those are calculated, obviously I will say too, I'll go back to this chat thing, like there's probably bugs, there's probably some mistakes we've made. I can definitely guarantee some of the factions may not be 100% correct, especially when you get into the sub-factions, because I think it's BCP doesn't track it and New Recruit does. One of them does, one of them doesn't. So we, again, the idea being as we catch up, we will, make sure they're audited, so to speak, and make sure everyone's got the right army that they played on those games as much as possible, just so the stats are right.
Andrew's going to have to pinch himself. Sitting in 7th.
Yeah. He was in 3rd for a bit till I imported more data.
Yeah.
No, that's good. He'll be right. I guess it's just funny. He's got it on 3 different armies, and so maybe that people who say concentrate, it's probably the right thing. But we like playing around with.
Yeah, I got to take a photo of that 10th because it won't last long. I take a different army every time. I'm up to 4
each time. Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, I think you're right, eh? If I go into yours, you've got 4 different bang.
Yeah, there's 4.
Someone's going to have to get a badge the first time they log a tournament against every faction in the game.
Oh, with
that's
the first. Well, there's more than 16 now. That's going to make it right.
I think there's something like 26 different factions that you can actually play with if you include the
all 3.
It's pretty cool how many armies there are with all the different faction armies.
Yeah. So we've got a dashboard. I'll just run through the last bit on it too. So right now this would be where you land. So it's counting out. We've had 36 tournaments logged in here, 339 players. Obviously there's just a quick snapshot of the top current ones, which is just the ranking, and then the upcoming tournaments there. So there's no new data there. It's just, you can go there and just see what's the most important. But we are starting to track some cool things like this. So and again, preface that there's probably some inconsistencies because of the way the factions have come through at the moment, but we'll clean that up as we go. But yeah, just top factions by appearance, so you can sort of see what Australia's, what figures everyone has or has printed,
what they're using.
what they're printed. And then we have factions by win rate. This is more of a Games Workshop-y thing. Everyone's talking about, 45 to 55% win rate balance. I just put it in there for a bit of fun. But these things all evolve. But, if there's other stats you want to see. And then we do have the faction leaders so using the ranking points, but counting all your results and then getting your top 3 of that particular race that you've played or faction, then we can work out the best in factions as well. So some of these people might be in the Masters, some of them might not be on that top 20, but they're the best people playing that particular faction. So you can see the champion, the runner-up and third place for them as well, which is pretty cool. And again, you can see things like Heralds of Darkness and Expeditionary Force haven't been played. I'm pretty sure that's wrong. I'd say some people have taken that, but it hasn't been logged properly. So I just need to fix some of those things. I don't know. What do you guys think? It's coming along. Let me show you the cool search thing that we put in. So now we can just go like Angus, and he's not found yet. There he is, Angus. Just straight in any of the searches and tournaments as well. So if you're looking for Castle Assault, it's down there. You just search straight in. So you don't have to dig through, once we get it to 1,000 players or 2,000 players, just hit the search button, and it can pretty much search, every part of the site, which is pretty cool. That's it. Cool. That's pretty much at the moment so far, but there's probably loads more coming, like I said, feature-wise and cool things. But yeah, first thing is just get on it, and if you're on it or you've gone to it, tell your friends who are playing and get them to check it out, and check your own profile if it's up there, and let us know what's wrong or right about it too. I'd really like to know if we're missing some data. That's all.
And I think as well, guys, with this is a YouTube channel we're going to be doing every month towards either right at the last week of the month or first week of the following month. If you could like, share, subscribe, get us out there, get the YouTube algorithm beating our drum, that would be highly appreciated. Obviously, the more reach that we get, the more members of the community that are going to watch it, the more people that know about it, and obviously it's just going to start organically growing from there, and hopefully it's going to really add a lot of value to the community, and I guess kind of fill that void that Wargamer AU's left. But to be honest, I think this is way better.
Yeah,
this is great. I love stats, and I started doing some rankings 2 weeks ago on bloody Google Sheets, which was so fucking hard, and Gomo's come up with this in 2 weeks. So well done, mate.
It was fun, but if it wasn't for you, Starky, man, it wasn't like, ASB actually dragging us together, but then you were sending me the stuff. Like, we could do better than that.
I'm a recruiter, mate. I connect people.
That's right. Yeah. No,
I'm glad you started doing stuff.
This is just
well done, mate.
Yeah.
Oh, thank you. No, I really just want people to get on and use it and send you all your ideas. And I just think I want to have a place where I can, meet more players, see what people have been doing. And right now it's a bit disparate. It's everywhere. We're not forcing people to, use our software for like running tournaments and stuff. They can still do what they want, but we just want to be sort of the aggregator, brings it all together, at least for the Australian scene. So,
yeah.
Somewhere everyone can catch up with everyone or check into what everyone's doing. I've met so many new people this year. I've had 4 tournaments or 5. Yeah, so many new great people out there that didn't know played Warhammer like me, and
what,
getting along with everyone fabulously.
Once I put the locations in, one of the other awards would be the most travelled player. The person who's done the most squares to go.
Nice.
That'd be fun.
Keep them coming.
So I think I was just going to say, guys, if you're in sort of North Brisbane and you want to have a game, and feel free to reach out. I think if you don't see your name in the top 20 and playing in an invite only tournament where I guess the players there are probably there to win and get crowned basically the best player in Australia for that season. You know what you have to do, guys. You've got to go to tournaments. You've got to get involved. It can be a really, really fun experience. I know that we do. I think at the moment, you look at Sydney's got a marquee, what I'd call a marquee event is an event that is going to get 50, 60, 70, 80 players. So you've got Moab in Sydney, you've got Castle Assault in Newcastle, my favourite tournament. At the moment, I think they're probably the only two that you could guarantee. Oh, sorry, and of course,
CanCon now, yeah,
and so I think those three are kind of back in the day it was DogCon, Convic, Oktoberfest, Oktoberfest Brisbane, Convic Victoria, DogCon Sydney, and CanCon in Canberra. But then you also had probably another 10 events, 10 to 15 events that would get 50 plus players. So hopefully we can get back to those kind of numbers, and everyone can have an awesome time. But yeah, I think the only way, guys, to grow the scene is to get involved, go to an event. You don't have to be going there to win. You can go for whatever reason it is, whether it's to win best painted, it's to get the wooden spoon, have fun with your mates, and drink lots of beers, whatever it is.
Boys' weekend, great for that.
Yeah. But yeah, I think from everyone here at Old World of Oz, it's probably a goodbye from Gomo.
Nah.
A goodbye from Starkey. Thank you.
Yeah, cheers, guys. Thanks for coming, and we'll see you on the next one.
Everyone have fun delving through it. Go for it.
Like, share, subscribe.